Modern maximum security prison populations are largely defined by a single distinct diagnostic profile, antisocial personality disorder, or APD. Clinical psychopathy is a distinct and separate category, though the two are frequently confused. Psychopathy stems from a biological hardware defect where the brain's mirror neuron system fails to develop, leaving the individual without the cellular equipment required for empathy. Individuals with APD possess intact biological hardware. They were born with the capacity for social connection, but that capacity was functionally broken by their early environment. To understand why these individuals process the world through a lens of violence, we must look closely at how the infant brain actively constructs its social hardware from the ground up. Historically, Western frameworks treated infants as miniature adults, assuming a child was born with a fully formed mind that simply waited for a small body to grow. In reality, humans arrive with only roughly 10% of their eventual adult brain capacity. The remaining 90% is built post-birth through synaptogenesis, a rapid explosion of neural wiring driven by external stimulation. As this neural network expands, the architecture is entirely experience-dependent. External data nodes light up and trigger physical connections, literally mapping the brain's structure based on the quality of the environment. This makes early caregiving a matter of literal physical brain engineering. Early behavioral models assumed infants bonded with their mothers solely because she served as a watering trough for calories. Psychologist Harry Harlow utilized infant rhesus macaques to challenge this nourishment-based theory. Harlow provided two artificial surrogates, a cold wire mother that provided milk and a soft cloth mother that provided zero food. The infants spent nearly 24 hours a day clinging to the cloth mother, only visiting the wire surrogate for a few seconds to avoid starvation. When confronted with frightening stimuli, the monkeys fled to the cloth mother for security, proving that emotional safety is a primary biological drive. This survival need was later confirmed by the catastrophic conditions found in World War II state orphanages. Infants in these facilities received propped-up bottles for nourishment, but they were never held or spoken to by caregivers. The absolute absence of human contact physically broke these orphans. They grew into adults who were neurologically incapable of forming intimate relationships, permanently mirroring the social isolation of Harlow's wire mother primates. The mirror neuron system serves as the biological hardware that forces an infant to synchronize with their caregiver. This system allows the infant's brain to replicate the emotional and physical states of the adult, creating a literal neural link between the two. This continuous mirroring provides the foundation for theory of mind to mature by 36 months of age. Theory of mind is the cognitive realization that other people possess thoughts, motives, and internal lives that exist independently of one's own. Without this neural synchrony, a child fails to build the bridge between self and other, eventually processing human beings as inanimate objects. Mary Ainsworth's Strange Situation Protocol provides a framework for measuring an infant's attachment baseline. The child's behavior during the moment of reunion with a returning parent reveals the strength and organization of their internal security. In this matrix, secure infants use the parent as a base, while anxious avoidant infants suppress vulnerability to protect themselves from a cold caregiver. The anxious ambivalent child escalates reactions for an unpredictable caregiver's attention. The disorganized profile features erratic, dazed behaviors. This child faces an unresolvable biological paradox. The person who should be their source of safety is simultaneously the source of their terror. These early interactions build emotional schemas, the internal scripts that define what love is supposed to feel like. In an abusive home, the infant brain makes a catastrophic mapping error, linking the biological need for love to the physical experience of pain and chaos. This subcortical wiring ensures the adult will unconsciously reject safe partners while seeking out destructive relationships that match their early childhood definition of connection. Severe early trauma functionally corrupts the brain's biological baseline for human connection. Total neglect or chronic trauma can lead to a complete collapse of the attachment architecture. One manifestation is disinhibited social engagement disorder, or DSED. Children with DSED display zero boundaries, often hugging or leaving with dangerous strangers because their social tracking system failed to develop. The alternative is reactive attachment disorder, or RAD. RAD results in a total inability to bond, often accompanied by violent, aggressive outbursts directed at caregivers. This extreme behavior serves as a destructive test, designed to push the environment away before the child can be abandoned again. These disorders represent the brain's desperate, highly dysfunctional adaptation to a world it perceives as fundamentally hostile. While these conditions are treatable, they are governed by a rigid biological window. Clinical outcomes drop toward 0 if intervention is not completed before age 8. At this milestone, the brain begins a phase of rapid myelination and synaptic pruning that solidifies foundational networks. Once this window closes, the neural architecture loses the specific plasticity required to reset the networks responsible for human bonding. Untreated, this pathology shifts into adolescent conduct disorder. This stage is marked by school truancy, street violence, and a specific clinical marker: deliberate cruelty to animals. At age 18, the individual reaches the final node of the pipeline: adult antisocial personality disorder. This unhealed developmental chain is what populates maximum security prison systems. Society's most dangerous antisocial outcomes result from systematic neglect during the infant brain's most vulnerable window.